Not great.
Where are you from?
I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
Going down there?
What are the reasons that brought you here to
I need
Cuba?
an interpreter, right?
Well, I felt I needed to. Came to Cuba last year, and I felt it was important that I come back to Cuba this year because of the recent developments that have occurred throughout Europe in regards to the socialist blocs deteriorating, and especially in the Christmas period, the fall of the Republic of USSR, Soviet Republic, and I just felt that at this stage I needed to come back here with the Vincent Raymond Brigade to show my support for Cuba, recognizing that Cuba has been under embargo for 30 years as far as the United States is concerned, and with the result of the collapse of Soviet structures all throughout the world, and especially the collapse of Russia, I felt that now Cuba is facing a double embargo, and it was necessary that I, as well as other people here in the countries from the States, that come here and continue to show our support for the Cuban Revolution. So a must for me to come.
We already got all the Cuban students.
That's very good. Third question. I'd like to know what are the most exciting aspects of this trip?
Well, I think some of the things that's excited me. Last time, it's always been, it's hard to just express one thing. Last time I came, besides so many particular things that had taken place in here, and that are visiting various hospitals, communities where the CDRs are, I have always been able to make new contacts with people from the States that have allowed me to laugh and enjoy myself while I've been here, which on this particular trip I had wondered who I was going to be able to sort of become close with, where I could laugh and express myself. And I found that it ended up being you as well as Tandibatu. So I was able to enjoy myself, but at the same time see myself here for political reasons, so that I could continue to understand what kind of developments were taking place in the Cuban Revolution and what we could share with the Cubans here, in that of how we feel the need for learning from the particular transformation they have made here, so that we can go back and struggle at home to bring about the kind of transformation back there that needs to be taken. Coming here, which I feel most Americans should attempt to do, and so they can see for themselves, we are bombarded at home with the kind of propaganda that really speaks to the question of how socialism is failing in this particular country. And when you come here and you see reality here, you see the real political situation in regards to how people are participating in their political democracy here. When you look at the economy and you see how people are not starving from the lack of food, where you see people are not homeless because of the lack of money, and you see people being able to enjoy themselves socially and politically and economically and culturally, you can really understand when people say the Cuban people made the revolution so that they could express their culture, so that they could enjoy themselves. And I have been able to see that here, that it's not as it has been expressed at home. And in receiving that experience, I am prepared to try to take this back to the States and talk about how important what people are doing over here has been, in that of making and building, developing a society where everybody can make a contribution to that society, and everybody in this society can reap the benefits from this society, and not just a handful of some elite, some corporate America. And so this has been a tremendous experience for me. And the last thing I'd like to sort of point out is that the May Day parade, which we saw, just added.
Atención compañeros. Atención compañeros.
Paper, and then I'll be able to do it. Okay.
Started.
Oh, you can start. Okay.
You were just discussing about the most profound effects, and you're saying as an American, it's important to travel to Cuba and etc.
Yeah, one of the most exciting things that's impressed me this time is that, for example, on May Day, when they had a parade of the working people of Cuba participating, I have always been amazed in regards to how their parades are not just a parade where corporate structures spend thousands of dollars putting on some big parades and people stand back looking at it. And here with this parade in Cuba, there are no huge corporate structures doing the parading. What it is, the proud people of Cuba come out and parade. And again, this particular year, there was over 1 million people out of 2 million people that live in Havana, Cuba, were out there parading to show their support for the Cuban Revolution, to show their support in regards to the workers of Cuba, that is actually the foundation for this particular country. And normally, Well, because of my working with the press, I was responsible for photographing and videotaping that day. And normally, I normally do that, but this particular time I was fortunate to have the opportunity to leave the area that we were assigned to, and I ended up getting as close as, say, 6 foot away from the crowd. And it was a total different experience, and it was very moving because what happens is I was in a location where people couldn't see Fidel until they got up to where I was at. And the minute they got up to where Fidel was at, they started yelling, "Fidel, Fidel, Fidel." And it was just so moving, and the women was coming up and they would have their babies in the strollers, and they would say, "There's Fidel, there's Fidel," and the babies would look up and they would point to him. And one man brought his dog and was holding his dog up, took his dog's foot and was waving his foot, talking about, "There's Fidel, he my dog likes Fidel." And it was just a so sensitive, point. And it just eliminates what you hear in the American press when they talk about the people here are disenchanted with his particular leadership. They're disenchanted with socialism. They're disenchanted with the revolution. And what you saw that day would make anyone realize that what is being propagated to them is just a myth. So that's when I go back, I plan to offer this and also continue to encourage people to recognize they should come to Cuba themselves to see what reality is here, because it is definitely not what it is portrayed in the mass media at home.